This is the time in our service where I usually introduce our speaker for the day, but today we're doing something a little bit different than usual. We don't have a formal speaker for today, but Rachel has found some lovely videos to share with us about Toji-taisai, the winter solstice, and how it's honored in the Japanese, Shinto, Buddhist cultures. So after we watch these videos and get a chance to learn more, we're just then going to invite kind of an open sharing for people to talk about any traditions you have that mark the solstice. And I look forward to hearing those things as well. So Rachel, I turn it over to you, my friend.
Yeah, so I have two short videos for us this morning. The first is a myth about Amaterasu, who Bruce and Cheryl highlighted in one of their songs, who is the goddess of the sun in the Shinto tradition. So we'll watch that first, and then we'll watch a clip about how Japanese people celebrate both the solstice and the upcoming holidays for the end of the year. So I will share that now. Oh, wait. I'm going to make sure I share the sound so you can hear that as well.
From the Shinto religion practiced in Japan, Shinto meaning the way of the gods or spirits, comes the story of Amaterasu, the sun goddess. The universe began when the god Izanagi escaped from the underworld. As a cleansing ritual, he bathed in a river and created 3 siblings. The eldest, Amaterasu, was born when her father wiped his left eye. She was immensely bright and beautiful, was placed in the heavens, and became the goddess of the sun. Izanagi then wiped his right eye, from which another bright being was born, Tsukiyomi. Although not as bright or radiant as Amaterasu, he became the god of the moon. The skies were divided in this way, day and night, between both siblings. The youngest, Susanoo, was born when Izanagi wiped his nose. He was not beautiful or bright, but wild and uncontrollable, and was told to rule the ocean and became the god of storms. Amaterasu and Susanoo constantly argued. Susanoo always found a way to upset his sister. One day when she was quietly weaving in her palace, Susanoo flew over her house and dropped a bloody, dead horse through the roof, thinking it would be amusing to frighten her. The blood splattered all over the floor, on Amaterasu and her beautiful tapestry. She was furious, and her work ruined. The goddess of the sun was so angry that she went into a cave, pulled a giant boulder over the entrance, and decided never to come out. Inside the cave was warm and bright, while outside the entire world was left in total darkness. Imagine an endless and cold night. Plants couldn't grow, animals couldn't eat, and everything seemed to fall into chaos. All the spirits of the mountains, rivers, plains, and valleys came to the cave, begging Amaterasu to come out and save them. But she was still angry and would not listen. The gods and goddesses concluded that somehow they had to convince her to come out. So they all sat in a circle in front of the cave and pretended to have a joyous gathering. One of the goddesses flipped a wooden tub over, jumped on it, and started an amusing dance. Her footsteps on the tub made a drumming sound, and her silly dance made the other gods laugh. Their laughter attracted the attention of Amaterasu. She was curious to see how others could be happy without her brilliant presence. She pushed the boulder slightly open and asked what the other gods were doing. They yelled back, "We're celebrating and having a great time. We found another goddess just as radiant and beautiful as you." Amaterasu was confused. Another goddess like me? She thought. She didn't know how to feel, but was curious to see who this other goddess was. She moved the boulder further open and looked out. A wise god had made a mirror out of shiny metal and hung it on a tree in front of the cave. When Amaterasu looked out, all she saw was her own reflection staring back at her. Because mirrors weren't created yet, she didn't realize that she was looking at herself, and believed that in fact there was another beautiful sun goddess. As she leaned out even more to have a better look, one of the gods grabbed her and pulled her out. Another god quickly pushed the boulder and closed the entrance to the cave, and a third hung a holy rope over the entrance, making it a sacred place where no one could enter. After seeing the effects of her absence, Amaterasu came to realize how important she was to the gods and to the world. She decided to take her place in the heavens once more. If you ever find yourself in Japan, you can go to the grand Shinto shrine in Ise, where that same mirror of Amaterasu is housed. But no one is allowed to look upon it, except for the Emperor of Japan. According to Shinto belief, the Emperor is a direct descendant of Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun. Therefore, he is the only one who can gaze into the mirror.
So that's our first video. And then our second one, sorry, I just realized that it stopped. So I'm going to find it again. Is about how people in Japan celebrate both Toji, which is the solstice, and also some other holidays, so the end of the year. So it's a mixture of Buddhist and Shinto beliefs, which is um, seem to be an influence on most people in Japan these days. So I'm going to pull that up. And I'm just going to mute myself. Sorry, while I play.
Here. And then on the December 22nd, we have Toji, or the Winter Solstice. Somehow we don't do anything on the summer solstice. There isn't really a celebration for this, but it's just a ritual thing that we eat at home. We eat things that has the noun of un, because the word un means luck in Japanese, and so it's just a word play, word pun. Try to have the luck inside us. So like ninjin, renkon, ginnan, kinkan, kanten, udon. And in the evening when we take a bath, on the baths we put in the yuzu peels. I just have a really nice scent, and it's just a really nice thing. I really enjoyed this as a child, and supposedly the oil and the yuzu peel have a relaxing effect, but also to prevent the skin from drying. So if you can get hold of yuzu, then I suggest give it a try. And on the last days of the December, we have Omisoka. There's also really no festival for this, but this is a day where we thank the gods of each buildings. Because in our Japanese tradition, we thought that the gods or the spirits were everywhere, and also each house has their own god or spirit. So we thank them, and as a thanks we do so-called osoji, or the big cleaning, and we clean the house. And it's also something we do in our schools. So the last day of school, we do a big cleaning of the whole school, and we do this also in the companies. For the Western culture, it's probably unimaginable that you clean the company that you work in. But in Japan, that's also a ritual to thank the company building. We clean the whole building with all the co-workers. I think it just also has a nice bonding effect within the co-workers and not just work for the business. And then on the evening of the last day of the year, we eat toshikoshi soba, just a plain soba noodle to thank that we have lived so long. And right before the year turns, we have so-called joya no kane. Each temple usually have a big bell, and they hit this bell 108 times. For all the evil desire and evil thoughts. Because in the Buddhist philosophy, it is thought that mankind have 108 evil thoughts and evil desires, and so the temples hit 108 times to wash out these 108 evil thoughts so that we can come into the new year with a clean slate. And you can also see part of this in this video, so if you're interested, you can watch that as well.